Hey there. Ever feel like you have a great idea or, a quick thought, but when it comes to saying it out loud in English, the words just kind of vanish?
Oh, absolutely.
Or maybe that little voice pipes up saying, better stay quiet, don't want to make a mistake.
Yeah, that feeling is incredibly common. You are definitely not alone if you feel that way. And today, we're diving into this really fascinating guide. It argues the real secret to becoming a confident English speaker isn't like memorizing more grammar rules.
Right.
It's something deeper. It's about changing your mindset, really facing that fear, and following a clear path to fluency.
Exactly. Because this guide, it doesn't just throw tips at you. It actually lays out a step-by-step roadmap. And it's packed with practical advice, mindset shifts, things you often just don't get in traditional classes. And the truth is, you probably know way more English than you give yourself credit for.
That's usually the case.
You just need the right method, the right practice, and, the right mindset to unlock it.
So we're going to dig into the core ideas from this material today, things that could genuinely shift how you approach speaking English.
Yeah, so settle in, maybe grab a coffee, take a breath, and let's really dive deep into these insights.
Let's do it.
Okay, so first things first, let's talk about what this guide says is the biggest barrier for most learners. Forget complex grammar for a second.
Right.
The argument is the real problem isn't usually what you know. It's what you're afraid of doing. The main obstacle, it's fear.
That's the core of it. And it gets specific, calls out those really common fears. The fear of making mistakes, definitely. The fear of being judged by other people.
Oh, yeah.
And that, that feeling of just looking silly if you try to say something and it comes out wrong.
It shares this story that really illustrates this perfectly. It's about this brilliant engineer from Vietnam. Super smart guy, could read complex reports, write flawless emails, understood everything in meetings, but he'd just sit there, silent, pure fear. Just terrified someone might laugh or think less of him if he mispronounced something or use the wrong word.
And that really points to a huge misunderstanding, doesn't it? This guide makes such an excellent point here. When native speakers listen to you, mostly, they're focused on your message.
Yeah, what are you trying to say?
Exactly. They're trying to understand what you mean, not nitpick how perfectly you said it. I mean, think about little kids learning to talk, right?
Totally.
They make tons of mistakes, but we don't shut them down. We encourage them. We celebrate the effort. We don't correct every single sound.
So the really big mindset shift this guide pushes for is to start seeing those mistakes differently. Not as proof you're failing,
No.
but as solid evidence that you are actively learning. You're
Yeah.
trying, you're putting yourself out there.
And if you can truly embrace that idea, the first big step towards fluency, according to this guide, is to stop chasing perfection, give that up,
Right.
and commit instead to chasing progress. That's the key.
Okay, so if step one is tackling the fear, changing the mindset, what's the number one practical thing? The first action this guide tells us to take?
It's simple, powerful. Speak English every single day.
Every day. Non-negotiable.
Pretty much, because speaking isn't just mental, right? It's physical skill. It involves your mouth, your tongue, your breath.
Like playing piano or something.
Exactly. It's like learning an instrument or a sport.
Right.
You need consistent physical practice. You can't just think about playing the piano. You have to actually play it. Same with speaking.
And the cool part is, you don't actually need someone else there to start this habit.
No, not at all.
The guide gives some really doable solo practice ideas. Like, talk to yourself.
Sounds weird, but works.
Yeah. Just narrate what you're doing. Okay, I'm making coffee now. Where did I put my keys? Stuff like that.
Or record voice notes on your phone. Just talk about your day, what you did, what you're planning, maybe a movie you watched, anything.
You can even join like short online speaking challenges if you find them.
The main thing is just making sounds in English, getting used to forming the words. And this guide, it makes a bold claim. It basically guarantees that if you speak out loud for just 10 minutes a day,
Only 10 minutes.
just 10 minutes, you'll feel a real difference in your confidence and how you feel about speaking within 30 days.
Wow.
That daily habit, it really compounds. It's that powerful.
Okay, so speak every day. Makes total sense.
Aye.
How do you say? This is where it gets really interesting. This guide argues really strongly that learning phrases is way more effective for fluency than just memorizing single words.
Yeah, this is a game changer for a lot of people. Think of phrases like pre-built conversation blocks. like Legos.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to find each individual word and stick them together perfectly every single time, which is slow and hard work for your brain,
Totally.
you learn these ready-made chunks, phrases you can just pull out and use almost automatically.
The examples they give really make this clear. Like, instead of just knowing the word happy, you learn things like, I'm over the moon, or that really made my day.
Right. Or instead of just surprised, maybe that caught me off guard. Or for excited, I can't wait.
Those sound much more natural.
Exactly. And learning phrases like this, it teaches you so much all at once. You get the correct grammar baked right in context. You learn the natural pronunciation, the stress, the rhythm. You learn how people actually talk.
So what's the practical tip here? How do you learn these?
It's super simple, actually. Start a real English notebook or just a note on your phone and commit to learning, say, 5 new phrases a week.
Just 5, not like 50.
No, just 5. Make it manageable. Practice saying them out loud. Maybe use them in imaginary conversations in your head or when you're talking to yourself. Repeat them until they feel natural.
And over time, your brain just starts grabbing those phrase chunks automatically when you speak.
That's the idea. It becomes much more automatic.
Okay, speaking of the brain, let's talk about another big speed bump. That habit of translating everything in your head. You know, thinking it in your native language first, then figuring out the English.
Oh yeah, the internal translator. It slows everything down, doesn't it?
Massively.
Yeah.
So the guide explains the goal is to train your brain to just think directly in English. Skip that whole translation step.
And again, you don't need to start with like philosophical debates in your head.
Uh-huh.
Start small, just like with the daily speaking.
Mm-hmm.
The guide suggests starting with really simple internal thoughts. Ask yourself questions in English. What time is it? Where are my keys? Notice things. I'm hungry. It's cold today.
So you're just connecting the thought directly to the English words.
Exactly. You're building that direct pathway. And it even suggests a specific technique called labeling.
Labeling.
Yeah. You just walk around your house or your office, wherever you are, and you quietly say the English names for the things you see. Table, chair, laptop, window, mug.
Ah, I see. So you're constantly reinforcing that direct word-object connection.
Precisely. Your brain stops needing that intermediate step of your own language. It sees the thing, thinks the English word directly. It helps you process and retrieve words much faster when you actually need to speak.
Okay, this next one sounds powerful. It's called the shadowing method, apparently used by serious language buffs, polyglots.
It is. Shadowing is basically advanced mimicry. It works like this. Find a short audio or video clip in English, maybe just a minute or 2 long. Ideally, find something with subtitles.
Okay.
Then listen to just one sentence, pause the audio, and immediately try to repeat that sentence exactly like the speaker said it.
Mimicking everything.
Everything. The tone, the rhythm, the speed, even the emotion if you can. You just repeat that same sentence over and over, trying to match them as closely as possible. Then you move on to the next sentence.
And you can use anything, like a scene from a TV show.
Sure. TV shows, bits from podcasts, TED Talks are great. Anything with clear, natural speech that you can easily pause and replay.
What are the benefits of doing this? Seems intensive.
It is, but the payoff is huge. First, it trains your ears like crazy to hear the real music and flow of English. Second, it's like a workout for your mouth trains your tongue and muscles to make the sounds and rhythms correctly.
The physical part again.
Right. And third, it trains your brain to process spoken English much faster because you're forcing it to keep up in real time. The guide claims even just 10 minutes of shadowing a day can make a really noticeable difference in your pronunciation and how smoothly you speak.
Wow, okay. Shadowing. Got it. Now, the guide also points out something pretty obvious but important.
Which is?
That right now, technologically speaking, it's probably the best time ever to be learning English.
Oh, absolutely. The resources available are incredible. But, and this is a crucial distinction the guide makes, it's not just about having the tech, it's about using it for active practice.
Not just passively consuming stuff.
Exactly. Not just scrolling or binge watching. You need to interact with it.
So what are some examples of using tech actively?
Well, like we just talked about with shadowing, pausing videos, and repeating lines, that's active. Using pronunciation apps, there are ones like Elsa Speak, for example, that actually listen to you and give feedback.
Okay, that's useful.
Practicing conversations with AI tools, you can literally talk to ChatGPT now, give it speaking prompts. Or joining live English speaking rooms, online platforms like Clubhouse, Discord, even YouTube Live sometimes have them.
So the goal is to turn your phone or computer from just something you watch or read on
into a practice partner, a tool to actively train your brain and, yes, your tongue.
Right. Okay, now, let's talk about the tip that probably makes most people's palms sweat.
Haha, I think I know which one you mean.
The one that feels the scariest, but the guide says is ultimately the most impactful.
Speaking with real people.
Bingo. Actually talking to other human beings in English.
Yeah, it acknowledges the nerves. Absolutely. That fear of freezing up, making mistakes in front of someone, it's real. But it stresses that this is where all the other practices, the shadowing, the phrases, the talking to yourself, this is where it all comes together and turns into real communication. You got to take the leap.
So where do you find these real people? Especially if you don't live in an English-speaking country.
Loads of places, thankfully. The guide suggests looking for online language exchange partners, websites, and apps dedicated to connecting learners. Finding Facebook groups for English learners, lots of them organize online speaking practice sessions.
Like Zoom meetups.
Exactly. Zoom meetups, dedicated English-speaking clubs, maybe on apps like Telegram or WhatsApp. There are options.
That's good to know.
And here's an encouraging point it makes. A lot of native speakers are actually really happy to help learners. They enjoy it. You don't need like 50 conversation partners.
Just one or two good ones.
Finding just one or two supportive, patient people can make a massive difference. And remember, the goal isn't always a perfect grammar lesson. It's about making a connection, having a real conversation. Language is about connecting, fundamentally.
Okay, good point. Now, shifting gears slightly, thinking long term, the guide is very clear about this. Fluency isn't like a switch you flip.
Definitely not. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. And the magic ingredient is consistency.
Patience and consistency.
It uses this really nice analogy. Learning a language is like growing a tree.
Okay.
You plant a seed. You can't just demand a full-grown tree the next day. It doesn't work like that. You have to water it a little bit every single day, patiently. And over time, with that consistent care, it grows strong, it blooms.
I like that, watering the tree every day.
Yeah. And there's this great little mantra in the guide to keep you going when it feels slow. One small step a day is better than one big leap someday.
That's good, because waiting for that perfect moment, that big leap,
you might never actually start. So it emphasizes that real fluency isn't built with these intense, maybe once-a-month cramming sessions. It's built with consistent, small actions.
Like what?
Daily speaking, even if it's short. Learning in a way that feels low pressure, not high stakes. Finding some joy in it, making it fun, and, crucially, having the courage to just keep making mistakes and learning from them.
So the big takeaway here is aim for steady progress, not instant perfection. Consistency is what gets you there.
Exactly. It's the engine of fluency. And just to show that this really works for regular people, the guide shares a few quick, really inspiring stories.
Oh, cool. Like who?
Well, there's Ramesh from India. He used that shadowing technique we talked about, just 10 minutes a day. Within 6 months, he was confidently hosting work meetings in English.
Wow, 6 months.
Then there's Julia from Brazil. She actually started her own podcast in English just as a way to force herself to practice speaking more. Now she has thousands of listeners.
That's brave.
And Ahmed from Egypt. He learned purely using his phone and free stuff on YouTube, practiced every day for about a year. And now, he actually teaches English himself.
Incredible story. So what's the common thread?
It's not some magic talent, right? Or spending tons of money. It was consistency, curiosity, and being willing to be a bit fearless, to just speak even when it wasn't perfect. These stories aren't outliers. They show you what's genuinely possible.
Which brings us really nicely to the final part of the guide, the super practical bit. A clear, simple action plan you can literally start today for 30 days.
Yep, it boils it down to 5 key tasks, manageable things. First, speak English out loud, at least 10 minutes, every day.
Okay, the daily 10 minutes.
Second, learn 5 new phrases each week. The real English phrases.
Just 5 a week, got it.
Third, use the shadowing method. Pick one short video, maybe 2 minutes long, and shadow it each day.
Daily shadowing.
Fourth, practice thinking in English during simple, everyday activities, like when you're making breakfast or commuting.
The labeling or internal chatter.
Exactly. And fifth, make an effort to join one conversation group online or find at least one speaking partner to practice with.
Okay, that's the roadmap.
That's the 30-day plan. The guide basically says, write this down, print it out if you need to, stick it somewhere visible, and just start.
Don't aim for perfection from day one.
No, don't worry about doing it perfectly every single day. The most important thing is just beginning and then trying your best to keep that consistency going.
And there you have it. That's our deep dive into this guide's perspective on becoming a confident, fluent English speaker. The core message really seems to be that it doesn't take some unattainable level of perfection or expensive courses.
No, it takes courage, it takes practice, consistency, and believing that you actually can do it.
Yeah. And building on that, maybe a final thought from the guide for you to chew on.
It really argues that fluency isn't some far-off dream, or some special gift only a few people get. Fundamentally, it's a habit, it's a skill. And like any habit or skill, you can build it one step at a time, day by day.
So our challenge to you listening is simple. Just take one thing, one idea from today, and try it. Maybe it's the 10 minutes of talking to yourself.
Yeah.
Maybe it's finding one new phrase this week. Maybe it's looking up a language exchange site. Just start building that habit.
You absolutely have what it takes. You can do this.
Thanks so much for diving in with us on this one. Until next time, keep practicing, keep learning, and definitely keep speaking.